Welcome to episode 108 of the Curios cast. This week we're talking about mystic sunglass portals, an Amazon tribe that is hooked on porn, and Zimbabwe's growing goblin problem. Yes, welcome back to the Curios cast, your weekly podcast. Always, every week, we're here, reliable. Your weekly podcast for weird news, stories coming from the internet.
Is anyone out there? Is anyone?
It feels weird today because we're actually recording it when it's daylight outside. Usually we record pretty late. So, Rob, you've got your sunglasses on.
Yeah, man.
You're not used to the sunlight.
Nah, it's just so beaming in at me. Like, my new sunglasses.
Are they real Ray-Bans?
They are real Ray-Bans.
Whoa. Other sunglasses.
I've never had Ray-Bans before because normally I just assume I'm going to lose them, which still is true for these. But I didn't actually buy them. I got them from a portal.
A portal?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened. So we had a rental van the other day. Not saying where from. And well, because everyone would go look for this portal.
Okay.
And we did a gig and it was really late, so we got back at like 4 a.m. And see, by that time you're quite tired, you know, everything's a bit confusing. That was my driving at 4 a.m. And we were like clearing out the van. I take it back, and my mate put my sunglasses like on the seat. Cool, and I noticed them there. I was like, "Oh, cheers, yeah, nice one." You know, because they were like stashed away at first. Drove. By the time I'd left the studio and got to the van rental place, which is like the close, right? I couldn't find them. I couldn't find my fucking sunglasses anywhere, and it was getting to it was like 10 to 5 at this point. I was like, "Fuck's sake!" Where? And I was going. I took all my bag out and put it in my, my van because I had to drive off. Went through my bag, like not there, and I was fucking going through the whole thing. I thought I'll lift the seat forward. Maybe it's gone down the seat. Found my fidget cube down the seat, which I was like, either my fidget cube or someone else's fidget cube. Probably my fidget cube, which I didn't realise I had.
How long did you rent this van for?
Like less than 24 hours.
And your shit was like everywhere.
Well, it was just
down at the seat.
Of course it was.
Yeah. I didn't even know I'd brought my fidget cube out of me. When I did this to my mate, I was like, it could have been someone else's fidget cube before they put it. I was like, what other cunt has a fidget cube that rents a van? And then I found a pair of sunglasses. I stuck my hand in and was like, and they were like some shitty like knockoff Ray-Bans. I was like, fuck man, mine were actually like okay. They're like sunglasses they were like super dry. I got them from TK Maxx, but like they were still like they were all right. So, at least it's some sunglasses, I guess, but that's fucking shit. Maybe mine are down here somewhere. Kept rooting, wedged right down, like in like the fucking gutter of the van. I pull out these motherfuckers from the portal. My sunglasses are upgraded to these.
But your original sunglasses are still down there, waiting for.
Well, they're in the portal somewhere, I guess. Yeah, they've upgraded them.
It's like transformed. Yeah,
I guess they are now
like
these. Yeah, they are now these. Mine no longer exist. They are these.
Did you try and put anything else down there?
Nah. It's strangely, my fidget cubes remain
Put
the
a fiver
same.
down there.
Like, yeah.
When it comes out.
Yeah, my fidget cube wasn't like a fidget
Square
block. I don't know. It wasn't one up from Cube. Yeah, it hadn't upgraded in any way.
Okay.
Which is strange, isn't it?
Yeah. So maybe it only works with optical devices.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But there you go. So if you ever want to upgrade your sunglasses, you just need to rent a van and put them in the portal. But I think it needs to be 4:45 in the morning.
Right. Okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
When I bought my car, it came with a free pair of sunglasses.
Did it?
Yeah, I mean, I bought it from a guy and he just forgot and left his sunglasses in the little. There's a specific sunglasses little hatch.
Oh yeah,
near
hype.
the wing mirror. No, rear view mirror.
I know what you mean. Yeah, like.
And I thought, what's this?
Like,
I've never had this
shaped
before.
like a sunglasses case. Is it one of them?
Yeah. And it opened up and there was a pair of sunglasses in there to demonstrate what the purpose of this thing was. And they're still in there because they're ugly and I've never worn them.
Did they have Rob's name tagged on it?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should try putting some different sunglasses in there and see if they upgrade to something you want. But your heart has to be pure and you have to be tired.
I'll do my best.
When you say you was putting your hand down into the depths of the van, how? So you were going down behind, like next to the seat.
I like pulled the seat. Yeah, I pulled the seat forwards because you ain't got much space in the van. Yes, so I pulled the seat forwards,
right,
and was like leaning back.
Okay, into the nether zone.
In the proper never zone, yeah.
Right, okay.
The van pool,
Yeah. Nice. Did you make a note of the license plate so you can specifically rent that van again?
Well, no, I think I've used the portal in that one. I need to. I'm better off trying another one.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
One-time use.
Or maybe once a year, I reckon. Yeah.
Have you ever done that? Like lost? This is a good example. So those sunglasses are gone, but have you?
I mean, they might be gone, or I found them in the studio yesterday.
Because I lost in my old car, and now it's definitely gone because that car got crushed. But the numbers for my gear stick fell off. So like the gear stick, the numbers were like a little disc that was glued in, and on a hot day once, the glue must have melted, and I changed gear, and then the numbers stuck to my hand and fell off. And it would always, and every now and then it would happen when I had a particularly clammy hand, is the numbers would come off. And I kind of got used to taking my hand off the gear stick in a particular way. Like I'd roll my hand off so that it would stay there if I could feel it sticking. And if it did fall, it would usually fall in the cup holder, which is right next to the gear stick. One day the numbers fell and it wasn't in the cup holder. And I thought, oh, maybe it's gone down the side of the chair. I don't know why I got so invested in trying to find my gear stick numbers, because I know the numbers, obviously. Like I didn't have to look at the gear stick anymore to see where I was driving. But I just thought it looked better with the numbers there, because it was just a metal circle now. It was gone. There was nowhere. I took like the floor mats out. I seat back and forward. I went in there with my torch. I was like climbing in the back seat. Yeah. Absolutely every little crevice. They were gone. It was just not there. And I would do it.
That,
and every now and then I'd get a little bee in my bonnet about it. I need to find these numbers, and I couldn't find them. And when I took my car to get cleaned, got them to clean the outside, and I was like, oh, clean the inside. And I even said, I was like, the numbers, they didn't speak English very well. So I was trying to explain, like, these numbers fell off. It's fallen somewhere. If you can find it, that'd be great. And they couldn't. They said no. So maybe they hoovered it up or something.
It got absorbed. We used to say that about my mate Ad's car. If I ever left anything in there, I'd be like, it's got absorbed, didn't it? It just gets absorbed into the portal of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not had anything in the car, but I lost a card at the White Line pub in Fobbin. Famous.
Like a bank card.
Famous.
Bank card, yeah. So I was standing at the, they've got like two bars. There's like a little mini bar around the side, like a tiny little bar. And I went out, it was New Year's Eve, or I can't remember, Christmas Eve, might have been Christmas Eve, and I was in there buying some drinks. And I was holding my credit card in my hand, dropped it, and it just vanished. It just disappeared into thin air. I looked down, I couldn't see it on the floor. Checked under the like little tables to one side, couldn't see it anywhere. There was a couple of guys like next to me, they were looking on the floor as well. Spent like a good like 4 minutes like looking, double checking around the nearby tables. There's not that many places in that pub for it to fall. I was like, fuck's sake. The only thing, and I still don't know where it is, but the only thing that the conclusion I came to
still
is that
for it.
There's a like a wooden sideboard at the bottom of the bar, and there's a tiny like just about the width of a credit card, right? So the only thing that I can think of is that my card fell perfectly, straight down and just went into that gap.
Yeah, maybe.
So my credit card is still in the White Line pub somewhere.
I think I said this before. When we were at uni, we got in a habit of like, we'd look for money on the floor. We worked out like towards the end of the night, you could just go near the bar and just there'd definitely be money. Like this probably doesn't happen anymore because not as many people have fucking cash.
Yeah.
But like at the time, you just always spent with cash. And so yeah, me, Josh, and James, we'd go towards the end of the night. We'd be like, basically, Josh, shout. We'd be like, "There's got to be money. There's got to be money." Like, and then we split up, and then we'd meet back and be like, "How much you got? How much you got?" And then we put it together, and we'd buy drinks with whatever we found. And one time, I was doing it, and I was looking around, and this guy came up to me, and he went, "There you go, mate," and it was a £20 note, and I was like, oh, like, fuck, thanks. And then it was like, I still don't know to this day, because I kind of knew the guy. Like, I still don't know whether he was like, he then said this because he kind of knew what I was doing or not. He was like, oh, for a second there, I thought you were like one of those pricks that was like looking on the floor for money. And then I thought, oh no, obviously he's looking for this. And then I was like, yeah, those pricks. And he was like, you got to buy me a drink now, haven't you, I think. And I was like, yeah, at the very least, come on. Yeah.
He thought you had dropped, it was your £20.
I guess or he sort of knew and was then saying that to be like
you are a prick. Yeah.
feeling me out for it. Yeah, I don't know.
Were you just crawling like underneath tables when people were still?
Yeah.
I've just got an image of you just
me,
like just literally just crawling around in the pub.
That's some
like,
American film. Yeah.
yeah.
Someone's just dropped it and you're like there just picking it up seconds later. Like, it's yours?
And just quickly, while we're on car portals as well, I've got a really weird car portal thing that happened. Remember when I had my crash?
Yeah.
Well, you might remember I had quite a bad crash. And it was like that thing from, like thing from a film, like the fucking airbags went off in like the side. They went off in the side and it was all like smoky.
Yeah. It's like Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah. And then I had to get out of the car and my key was still in the ignition, but the key ring was there. You know, like you have all your keys hanging off your key ring. The key ring was intact, but none of my keys were on it. None of the keys were on it. And they were just strewn about the car. Like after it all sort of like, spoke to the police and all that, and it was kind of like, right, they're dragging the car off to the side. Someone will collect it. The tow truck will come. You got to go home. And I was like, well, I got to find my fucking house key. It was all over the car they were. And in the end, I found my house key and it was like sheared in half. Perfectly. I'll go grab it in a minute. I've still got it. I kept it as like a memento to like not be addicted.
Oh, yeah. We'll take a photo and put it up.
Sheared in half.
It's crazy.
And keyring intact. What the fuck's that about? What the fuck happened there? Like some sort of like...
That's mad because as much as it's a lot of force, obviously when you're in a car crash, it's not that much force. Like you can, like if your car's going, how fast were you going?
I'm not that... I just pulled out and they were maybe 30.
Yeah, like 30 miles an hour is not... You can throw a key faster than that and it's not going to shear off the hook.
Yeah.
Off of the key ring.
I don't think you can throw a key faster than 30 miles.
Yeah, you can.
You reckon?
Do you reckon? Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. When I used to play cricket, I'd bowl the ball at like 50.
Whoa! Sorry,
Which is that kilometers an hour?
And also, that's a bowling ball, not a key. A key's quite light. I don't think you can get the...
Oh, but
if you had it, a bowling ball size key.
If you had it on, like if it was a bunch of keys and then you just picked up one of the keys and it almost had like a whipping motion to it.
Okay.
Like you held it and then it'd have like a weight. It'd be like a little flail or something.
Maybe then.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely you could throw it faster than 30.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
How can we test this? We need a speed gun. But yeah, isn't that weird? And like,
it's weird.
What did it fucking shear off on? Yeah, I never understand that.
Just physics.
That's a proper weird one.
It's either physics, Rob, or you briefly touched another dimension.
Maybe
your key went into that dimension.
And I never found the broken half of it. Obviously,
that's in another dimension. There's probably a guy on doing a podcast in another dimension now saying he's got
half
this
the key.
nub.
Disappeared.
Yeah.
And I was there. I'm surprised they never they should have breathalyzed me. It was a fail, really. I was in my pajamas, barefoot. I was barefoot, like standing around in like fucking broken glass. Like, why the fuck didn't they breathalyze me? What's wrong?
Yeah, I always assumed
pajamas and barefoot.
Actually,
that's a stupid question. Actually,
yeah, I was just dropping my girlfriend at the time to work,
okay.
So I was just hopped in the car. I mean, I would have passed a breathalyzer, I would have been fine, but like it's just weird that they didn't. It's like,
I always assumed like every crash, everyone would get breathalyzed, like, in case someone,
like
especially
morning after drunk as well, maybe that's quite common, isn't it?
If you look like Rob wearing pajamas and bare feet, you've had a car crash.
Yeah,
I know.
Then they probably think you're on some sort of substance.
Yeah, I know. It's weird, isn't it?
According to topvelocity.net, that an average untrained adult male can throw a baseball at speeds ranging from 45 to 65. So,
Kilometers.
What, miles or kilometers?
Miles per hour.
Oh.
Yeah.
But baseball's got a bit of heft, doesn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah. But also, this is untrained. Like, I think I'd consider us trained. We've played.
Are we trained?
I've thrown things before.
I'm not very good at throwing, to be honest. So I don't think I could.
Okay,
I don't
maybe
think
you'd be
I could
45
throw.
miles an hour.
No, I reckon I'll be under 30.
You're that rubbish.
Yeah, I'm not great at throwing.
Mate, even the average untrained female can throw balls ranging from 30 to 45.
That's fine. I'll be in that category.
All right.
Yeah. I've never
Who's
been
got a
good
weird
at
news story? Hopefully, all of us. Was your story to put the van?
Yeah, mine was my own weird story about a van portal.
Okay.
Well, I have
My
got one as
story.
well.
You've got one as well.
Well, yeah.
You
go first, though.
I'll
Tom.
go next. Yeah.
Yeah.
You might have read about this. In which case, it might be quite quick, but I'm sure there's listeners that haven't seen this. There was a man who uploaded a video to YouTube 6 years ago, January 2018, about his experience of being ugly. The video was titled "Being Ugly: My Experience," and I don't want to be mean, but like I believe him that maybe he's had some bad experiences. The video is essentially him just talking about like people don't understand that like life can be different if you look ugly, and like, you know, you maybe don't get treated as well, or like people just don't care about you as much or whatever, and that he's having like a tough time trying to find a partner. The video got it's 22 million views now. The guy's YouTube channel is called Never Give Up, and the video wasn't like super like, oh, feel bad for me or whatever. A big part of it was I wanted to try and find people who don't look normal or aren't like super attractive, because when you go online or watch TV, everybody is decent looking, because the type of people that want to be on camera and make it being popular are good looking. Anyway, he uploaded this video 23 minutes long just talking about his experience of being ugly. He obviously got a lot of views and he got a lot of comments and stuff, and then one person commented, said, "I actually think you're kind of cute, to be honest. I mean it." And that comment was that comment's only 2 years ago. So maybe that was like quite a while after the video had been published. This person, who's a female, came across it and thought, he's quite cute. I quite like this guy. And commented. He ended up reaching out and getting in touch and was like, "Oh, thanks for your comment. I really like that. Like that was, it meant a lot to me. Thanks." And they started chatting a little bit on Discord and ended up getting quite close to each other, realized that they vibed with each other pretty well. They didn't live near each other, but started a long distance relationship, just talking online and stuff, I guess. Got to know each other pretty well. And in January of this year, 2024, they got married. All from this guy uploading
True love.
A video about being ugly. And
It's mad.
Literally
It's the power of the
YouTube.
internet.
Yeah, the power of the internet. YouTube comment.
Just the YouTube comment as well. How do you find someone from a YouTube comment? Do you have to like, I guess is there some sort of like messenger via YouTube?
There used to be. There isn't anymore. There used to be like a messenger thing built into YouTube. But a lot of people will have their like email in their about section.
Okay.
I think like, I don't know if it's there by default or you got to turn it on. But I guess you can just, in the YouTube comments, be like, "Hey, what's your Discord channel?" I think because this guy had a channel already with loads of videos, he had like a little bit of a following, so he already had his socials up there and stuff. Like maybe it was through Twitter or something. They got to know each other. They got to know each other that way. But yeah, I thought that was cool.
It's a nice happy ending. I was expecting it to go in a much darker direction.
Yeah,
I'm very happy that he's found love.
Wholesome.
Yeah, it's very wholesome,
as the youth say.
Yeah,
I just think it's weird, like the whole concept of being ugly or being attractive, because it's conventionally attractive, right? Is like what people think of when they watch the movies or TV or mainstream media,
and it'll be culturally
there's cultural
relevant as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just preference. So one man's trash is another man's treasure, as they say. You know?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. It shows, like you say, sort of like the positive side of the internet and what connecting with others can bring. Speaking of which, a remote Amazon tribe in the Amazon finally got internet due to Elon Musk's Starlink, and they have all ended up addicted to porn and social media.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So
how long did it take? Does it say?
I think it was like
hour.
a good couple minutes. Yeah. A reclusive tribe in the Amazon finally got hooked up to the internet, only to be torn apart by social media and porn addiction. So yeah, if you don't know what Starlink is, Elon Musk sent up thousands or hundreds or whatever of satellites, and it's kind of expensive for the average person, but I guess for businesses that are out in remote areas, it's quite useful. You just buy this Starlink kit, which is essentially like a satellite receiver or something, and it gives you pretty decent internet. This remote tribe in Brazil, 2,000 members strong, they have been left bitterly divided by the arrival of Tesla founder Starlink service 9 months ago. So they've had it for 9 months. And one of the elders of the tribe said, when it arrived, everyone was happy, but now things have gotten worse. Young people have gotten lazy because of the internet. They're learning the ways of the white people. Oh, I didn't know it was going that way. Alfredo said many young Marabou men have been sharing porn videos in group chats, and he has already observed more aggressive sexual behavior.
So they already had smartphones then, or is this all part of?
I think they I think they maybe already had phones and stuff. They've got glasses and sunglasses and Adidas hats.
Yeah, they're not that remote.
I guess they're not
uncontacted. They're just in a remote place. Yeah.
They're in a remote place, but I think they are, they're civilized, but just very traditional. You can see they're all walking about with I don't know, it looks like they've got teeth necklace, those shark tooth necklace, but they're probably not sharks.
They've got they're in a transitional phase, you could say, from their very traditional way of life to obviously including modern clothes or Western clothes.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it's, a weird visual image, or the mixture of very traditional dress and then just suddenly Adidas.
Yeah. So they talk in the article about it's divisive because they've seen all the benefits of having the internet. They said it was heralded as a positive for the remote tribe, who were able to quickly contact authorities for help with emergencies, including deadly snake bites. He says it's already saved lives. So and they've probably been able to look up a lot of things that maybe they wouldn't have been able to figure out on their own beforehand. So they're all this internet's great. And then I guess eventually they've started to discover the deeper depths. I wonder if they listen to the Curios cast.
That'd be great. That would be so good.
Shout out to all the Amazonian tribes members. Yeah.
Was it Marabou tribe?
I wonder if they've ordered anything from Amazon.
Maybe. That would be difficult to get there. I think, ironically, it's probably
yeah.
I doubt Amazon deliver to the Amazon.
Can you imagine being obviously one of those tribes people, especially a younger kid, and maybe not this tribe because they seem to at least have been in contact with the Western world a bit more, but maybe one of the semi-uncontacted tribes that still obviously live right deep in the Amazon. And you spend, the first, I don't know, say 11, 12 years of your life, in that sort of tribal life. You only really know a certain area around, where you grow up. Maybe your knowledge of the world is really limited. You don't know anything beyond your culture, your tribe culture and what your parents and the tribal leaders tell you, basically. And then all of a sudden, in the basically the blink of an eye, suddenly Starlink arrives, or a smartphone arrives, and then you just realize that there's a whole world out there that you couldn't even conceptualize because you don't know anything about anything. You can't comprehend any of it. Can you imagine how overwhelming that would feel? It's just crazy.
Yeah. I watched a thing the other day where it was a guy. It's a girl asking on TikTok, is there a word for what they call it when you just for the type of person that has loads of unread emails and loads of unread messages and just is too overwhelmed to respond, And this guy was like, stitched a video and was like, yes, I think that's called like being normal. He sort of goes on to say, and was like, it's absurd that we live in a world where you're fully contactable 24 hours a day and you're like expected almost, to reply instantly. He was like, it's not that long ago, like 20 years ago, even you'd go out in your car, that was it. No one was contacting you. If you left your house, that was it. And in like films from like the 80s where they depict like the person that had a page, it'd be like a high salaried, stressful, high stress job, of the guy that had a mobile phone or was on his car phone. It'd be like this businessman, and he'd always be depicted as like constantly on the go and like stressed, or it'd be like a doctor with a pager, And now it's just like everyone all the time ever. I feel like such an old head saying that, but like,
bring back pages is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, but it is. It used to be like, you used to you'd call up your mate, wouldn't you? You'd call up the house phone. Ask, can I speak to such and such?
And you get this
if
cut off as well.
If they weren't in, that was that.
Yeah, can't call after like 9 or 10.
Yeah, you just could. Yeah, it was just not the done thing, was it? Yeah, someone would think something was wrong.
What a world.
Yeah. And I do kind of like, I do miss that. And it does, like, I don't envy people growing up. Like, it was nice to have grown up like that.
Yeah.
And people now, it must be mad. Like, you don't know any difference. Like, just,
I guess
it is what it
grow
is.
Up with it. It is what it is.
Yeah,
like,
it is what it is. But
I think some people get like the opposite. Like, if you took someone from 30 years ago and brought them now, they would be overwhelmed, like, with the amount of like connection and stimulation that there is like all the time.
Yeah.
But if you take someone now and drop them like 30, 40 years ago, they would probably be like anxious and stressed that they can't be in contact with everyone all the time. Like they'll be like, how do I know what people are doing? Like, how do I find like out what's going on? Like, if I don't talk to someone, like now you don't really talk to someone. You can not talk to someone for like a year or two, but you still know that they're like, all right, they're what's kind of going on in their life and stuff, because you just see like their Instagram stories, basically.
Yeah. Oh, it's like
so
you
like
bump into someone from school and you have to do that sort of like pretend thing that you don't really know that they got 2 kids and what they do for a job, and like you know everything about them. You sort of, what are you up to now? And you're like,
it's almost pointless, like meeting up.
Yeah, or maybe it's someone who you know that you've been looking at each other, so you can go more of like that. Oh, you're a such and such now, aren't you? And you go, yeah. Oh, you got kids now, yeah. But yeah, the weirder one when you just bump into someone, and you're like, it's weird for me to know everything you do, but I do know, like, and I know that you know what I'm doing. But it is weird if we just say that.
Yeah, I think this tribe have had it like such, like it's such a quick switch, like you say, because like they went for the tribe leader or one of the elders or whatever. He was saying that he's worried that like a lot of their history and culture, which has previously just been passed down orally, could be lost forever. And he's saying like if you don't get shit done, like things don't happen. He was saying if you don't hunt and you don't go catch fish, then you don't eat.
Yeah.
But then like all of the kids are like sitting in the huts, just probably watching like recipes on TikTok or something. like they've literally gone from like having to hunt fish to eat to being able to like watch Mr. Beast go to the most expensive restaurant in the world or something. Like, what is this?
Yeah, it's mad. It's a shame that we can't go back in time. I think because also
statement from George. It is a shame that we can't go back in time. Yeah,
I think I feel like maybe I've mentioned this before, but obviously when I was younger, I had like a interest in the unknown, like mysteries and ghosts.
Oh, yeah, you never mentioned that. Yeah,
not mentioned it. I think maybe it's something new that our listeners might find interesting. But I think part of that is because obviously I've grown up pre-internet or pre-widespread internet. There were a lot of mysteries in the world. You know, since I was younger, there's a lot of things that I first read about when I was younger. Even like natural mysteries. I'm not talking about ghosts and shit, but things in the natural world that back in the 90s, they still didn't really know what the deal was. So it's like, read about it in an encyclopedia once or offhand in a book or something.
Yeah.
And now, 20, 30 years later, you find out that there's a lot more information available about that subject, and it sort of ruins the mystery in a way.
Yeah,
It makes it a lot less
nice.
exciting.
I find it interesting how like virality used to kind of occur even without like just like everyone knew the Keenan and Kel thing, like just spread around schools. You're probably too young for that, Todd. Would you know Keenan and Kel are?
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of Keenan and Kel, but it was still on when I was a kid.
Oh, okay,
but what's the Keenan and Kel thing?
So everyone heard that they had a car crash and Keenan died and Kel was paralyzed. Everyone used to, and everyone knew that. Like everyone, but it wasn't true.
Well, it's like the Frosties kid thing, right? Everyone heard that like the Frosties kid had died and he killed
same
himself.
thing. Like, and where did that? Someone at some point made that up, I guess.
Yeah,
and like, and well, I guess this is more like an advertising thing, but like everyone was into Pogs and like, but I guess that's more advertising, I suppose. But like trends, yo-yos became
those crazies. I remember they used to have a yo-yo guy that used to come into school. I don't know if you guys had a yo-yo guy.
We've spoke about it before.
Have we?
Yeah,
we had a guy that used to come into primary school, so that was like in the late 90s. And
wasn't Johans, was it? No, because he was the American guy, and it was only like in recent years that I've thought about Johans. That was like that wasn't his name. It was Yo-Yo Hands. Like I just thought, it was Johans. Yeah,
Johan.
Yeah,
mine was just a complete scam. Like this guy came in, probably the same as yours, George. Like I don't know how he got away with this, or like how the schools. What the deal was, but we had an assembly that was just taken over by yo-yos. This guy comes out the front and he's like, yo-yos are so cool, and he's showing us all these sick tricks you can do with yo-yos. And obviously, as an 8-year-old boy, you're like, fuck yeah, like that could be me. And he's got like multiple at a time. Some of them light up, all these different colors, Spider-Man ones. Oh wow, that's sick. And then he's like, all right, that's the yo-yo. Maybe get some of you up to like try a trick or two. And he's like, all right, I'm going to be selling yo-yos for the next week, like in the playground
How
after
is he
school.
allowed to do that? Yeah.
So then, like,
Crazy.
literally for the next week, he's got like a little stall, like just outside the school or in the playground or something, just flogging yo-yos. So obviously, every kid runs to their like parents and like, I need a yo-yo.
I will die.
Yeah,
if I do.
Everyone's getting one, and you see like 5 people queuing up. You're like, look, everyone's getting a yo-yo. If I don't have one,
What hustle?
How do you get that? Like,
how you get that is crazy.
Deal.
Yeah, how did he manage that? He must have known someone who got in the score.
Yeah, but me and George didn't go to like.
Yeah,
how did that happen in both?
Oh, you had the guy also sold them. In your
the guy also sold them.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, and it was like an annual event. You know, it was like
same
part of the school calendar. This guy coming in.
He must have had a rota of going. He must have had a fucking killing.
Yeah,
we need to find this guy.
He's like the modern day like snake oil salesman from
we need to find out who this is. Here now, get your yo-yos.
Maybe it's like one of the last remnants of that. Yeah, that industry. You know, where traveling sales.
It's got to be possible to track him down. Or like someone just needs to remember, like one of their teachers, or needs to remember who their teacher was. Get in contact with him, because we didn't have that at my school. But I could, if we did, I could probably find out who it was. But we didn't have that.
I don't. Yeah, my head.
You got to remember your old teacher. You got to have a link with you. One of your old teachers who has a link to the person who knows who made that call.
Yeah,
there's a Reddit post I've just found, and someone says, when people came and sold yo-yos in elementary school, why did they allow this? But there's no consensus.
Elementary
it sounds
school,
like it's
so even
that
sounds American.
Yeah, even happened. I can believe it more in America. I'm surprised it happened here. Like we have generally have more like rules and shit against this sort of thing.
Someone says at my middle school in Texas, I remember people showing up to sell hermit crabs. I think that probably beats.
That's so Texas.
Yeah. Crazy, but no one's got any insight to that. But so it sounds like maybe it's a global thing.
But no, it's funny what you were saying about like virality and how that's kind of changed. Is that I think back then those like viral memes essentially, that is actually like the true like definition of viral, where like it would be a rumor that's in someone's school and it's probably just spread through like people talking to their friends at other schools who has then like spread it amongst their school, and then it literally just spread that way. I think is just by, and somehow that makes it all the way across the country. And I guess maybe people change schools and then like have this rumor going on.
Yeah.
And in early days of the internet, it was like through email and stuff, weren't it? It'd be like someone sees a funny video and then you email it and send it, and everyone's talking about it. And it's one of my like pet peeves now is when people say, and news articles will do it all the time.
Yeah, I know.
So this video has gone viral.
Yeah, you've made.
And you
this
look at it, and it's
annoy
got
me.
it's got 150,000 views. I'm like,
Yeah.
that is not viral.
Yeah.
That is not because everybody is talking about it and everybody is sending it to everyone and everyone has heard about it. Like that doesn't really happen that much anymore.
No,
like every now and then you get like a video that literally everyone is talking about. But for the most part, the algorithm just pumps it out to a bunch of people. They see it, they flick by, and then it's got like 1 million views. Great. That's not viral though. Like viral is when people were talking about it for a long time.
I saw a Twitter post.
You've said
earlier on
that
about
before, and now when it happens, I get annoyed about it. Like, like fucking James O'Brien says it all the time on LBC, and it sounds like I almost feel like so it's such a boomer thing to think your video of 20,000 views is viral. It's not. Like,
I saw an X post today about the Charlie Bit Me video, like the classic.
Oh yeah.
And it was saying that more or less the same sort of thing, where it was saying that back when that came out, that was more than just a video. It became like a social shift. That was like one of the very first big, I guess, viral videos in terms of the impact it had on society, and then sort of memes and short videos came from that. But he was saying that if that came out today, or if that was released now, it would get like 100 views on TikTok or something.
No one would watch it. I always thought that video was shit and not funny.
Yeah,
and I think I've said this on an old episode. I think I remember saying I think I shouldn't, because I have messaged them to try and get an interview with them before.
But it's true. It was the thing of its time, and it wasn't particularly of note, isn't it? Like,
I think the guy said, obviously this is just the guy on X saying it, but it was quite interesting. He said that obviously at the time people weren't uploading videos of themselves all the time. There wasn't loads of content on the internet of
not
people
like that. Yeah, they do it so intentionally.
Yeah, so what people found interesting back then was an insight into people's lives. It was interesting because it was a bit unique. Yeah, whereas today, I mean, like you go on TikTok or whatever, and there's just millions upon millions of clips of people just doing the most boring shit through to mad shit.
Yeah.
So exactly. Yeah. So it's just interesting how people's consumption of media has changed. In what was that, like 15 years ago? That video came out, maybe less.
I bet it would shock us how many it is.
I bet it's about that. Yeah. Because I think the kids now are like 16, 17 or something.
That's crazy.
They sold the video as an NFT, like during the fucking NFT craze.
Did they? Someone owns it. Is that how that works? I mean, we have discussed this. I think you brought that. That's why we spoke about it before, because you brought that as like someone sold the Charlie Bit Me thing.
Yeah. I don't know if this is the original. Still, I thought it'd been taken off of YouTube because it got sold as an NFT, but it's still there on YouTube.
How many views has it got?
2007 was when it was uploaded.
Fucking hell, 2007.
It's got 886 million.
2007. So that was only a year after YouTube's inception.
Yeah. One of the earliest videos then, I guess.
Also, what's crazy is that 886 million is obviously a huge amount of views. And a lot of them have come like probably later on, just over time. Like in its first year or two, it probably got like 5 million or 10 million or something, which was crazy at the time. But now that's not actually like an insane amount of views. Like videos get over 1 billion every now and then, which is crazy. Yeah. That fucking Baby Shark has got like a couple billion, I think, just because it gets like repeated over and over again.
What a brave new world of media, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully this tribe will overcome their porn addiction. And,
what they should do, they should start from 2007. They need to
go through it. Yeah,
go through it. So they need to start with like the classic videos. Like was it Double Rainbow? That's another early one. Crazy Frog. All the innocent period of YouTube and the internet, and then get to all the hardcore. Double fisting. You don't need to start with that.
I quite often think about this, right? Not double fisting, but remember when everyone was that trend where people were asking their boyfriends how often they think about the Roman Empire?
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt old there. Like, what was that about?
It was just, I think one person literally asked their, like, just filmed their boyfriend and said, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And he was like, probably like a couple times a week or something. And she was like blown away that, like, why are you thinking about the Roman Empire? He's like, well, they're just cool, aren't they? Like,
And then it turned out
like,
lots of people did. And
then other girls were asking their boyfriends about it. And a lot of boyfriends were saying, like, maybe like, once a week, like every day, like quite often.
just, yeah.
I don't think about the Roman Empire every day, but I quite often think how would I explain what I'm currently doing to somebody from the past? And I typically picture like a Roman, because I think they were like very civilized. They understood like what's like building in society and what's that word? Innovation.
Yeah,
like
innovation, right?
Yeah. So like they would probably be the most adept to like understanding things are different now and like what is going on. But I always try and think, like, even when I'm just driving and sitting in traffic, like if a Roman was just like poof, like sitting next to me now, how would I explain this machine that I'm in and like why everyone else is in this machine and where we're all going in this, like in the same way, and why we're doing it and what I'm wearing and what's this sound coming out of the machine and also what I'm doing here. Like, how would I explain that I'm talking to like different people that are like hundreds of miles away,
almost impossible, right? Like, because even just trying to explain one thing, you'd then have to explain, probably a dozen things behind that one thing. So say you're explaining the radio, music on the radio. You have to explain the actual radio itself, but then radio.
Yeah, like what radio waves are.
Yeah.
This is a weird concept to think of as well. I think it's Blind Boy spoke about this, that like, because the Romans were like peak civilization at their time, and they built like cities, and then like I think it was like the Vikings came after the Romans and just like fucked it all, like, and just like when the Roman Empire eventually collapsed, all these kind of like Viking, I'm a terrible history here, Viking tribes, or it's like whatever came up after the Roman Empire collapsed, just kind of wiped out a lot of it, and then they were like tribal. So they lived in like they didn't have cities or anything like that. So they lived in like going into the city wouldn't have made sense or anything, So they like set up on the outskirts, etc. But then eventually they got to these cities which were like deserted and like these abandoned, starting to overgrow, like, and they were just like so confused by what these were, and were just like, what the and they thought it was like giants because like these buildings that had been built, they were like absolutely impossible that human could have made them. So these previous giant races would have put these things here.
Mad.
And it's funny to think that
London was like that just after the Romans left Great Britain, and then London was abandoned basically. It's like the Saxons or whoever it was there before. Just like you say, didn't live in the city, had no use for it. So then London just became this abandoned maze of ruins, and just crazy to think. Like, it would have been interesting to see that part of history, all these cities around Europe. Just
wouldn't have been that long after, I guess. Like a couple of 100 years or anything, and then I
guess so.
Not even that, maybe.
I like this new historical
approach
to the Curios cast.
But next time you're doing something like mad, just try and like explain it to a Roman in your head. Like, I do it quite like, and like you say, because it leads on to other things. Like if I was trying to explain to a Roman here, I have to explain like what a camera is. I have to explain like what the internet is somehow.
Yeah, they used to do that. There was a head teacher at my old primary school used to do that as like an exercise. He'd go like, I'm an alien, and you have to explain to me something, and he'd give you something to explain, and you'd say, it's like such and such, and you go, what? Like he was really good at it. And you'd be like, what? What's that? Like,
you sure he wasn't an actual alien?
Yeah, maybe.
He was fishing for information.
I remember he wrote a song as well. He wrote like a school song. I don't know. Yeah.
What you got for us, George?
Well, mine is very different to discussions of history and uncontacted tribes and things like that.
That is not like you.
It's not like me at all. But this is... it's not so much one particular story, but it's a series of different stories that have been happening over the course of the past 6 years or so, 7 years or so. But the reason I heard about it was, again, on X. There was a post the other day that linked a lot of these old stories together. But the jinx, well, what I'll do, I'll just give you the main sort of headline, the most recent headline, and then we'll discuss if I can get it up here. So, this is the headline. Zimbabwe is haunted by goblins, according to local news. So this was published 9 hours ago. So this is
9 fucking hell,
hot off the
press.
press.
Wow.
Yeah. So this
Probably a couple months ago for the listener.
yeah, probably. This story here says Zimbabwe is a country filled with breathtaking natural beauty, tasty eating, and unfortunately, goblins. They've been a known problem in the country for some time. Some past headlines over in the last, like I say, 5 to 6 years include goblins force school to close. Goblin causes police station evacuation, which was a very recent one. I'll also discuss that. And then, a bit of a strange one. Shock as prophets use very short man as a goblin. Now, that maybe gives you a bit of insight into the truth behind some of these stories. If very short people are being blamed for things. But anyway, so one of the most recent ones is Zimbabwe police officers terrorized by goblins at night. And this story here is also quite recent. This was 2 days ago. So it's all very, very recent. Gwambe police base in Bulelima, Matabeland South. Probably butchered that name entirely.
I think that's right.
has been deserted by officers who claimed they were being terrorized by goblins in the night. Ward 2 councillor Mabed Ngulani confirmed the unusual situation. He said, "We built a police station for the officers, and initially they patrolled in pairs. However, they haven't been able to stay for extended periods." According to Councillor Nungali, the male officers reported being terrorised by female goblins at night.
Oh.
They described being harassed, bodies being violated, doors opening on their own, and things climbing on the roof, making it impossible to sleep. A meeting was held last week with village heads and police officials, which culminated in the police being withdrawn from Gwambe, stating they couldn't endanger them any further. The local chief has cautioned villagers against any further action, and the police are currently looking for alternative accommodation that will allow them to return, but obviously not be attacked by goblins, which is weird. Obviously, think, what's going on there? Bit of an odd news story, but there's many others. There's this one from June 20th, 2022. Goblins besiege school.
Besiege. Great word.
Besiege school. They besieged the Majiji Primary School in Booby District. Matabeland, North Province. So it's the same province.
This rings a bell, or is it just we had someone else that was like goblin-y or...
Goblins have come up before.
Yeah. But not
in relation to Zimbabwe, or...
Nah, I don't think so. But yeah, goblins have been about, haven't they?
Yeah, I can't remember now. I know we've spoken about like Chupacabra. We talked about gremlins.
Yeah.
Probably.
Goblins aren't that big of a thing here, are they? Like we read a lot of stories about goblins, and it usually is in like South America, or I guess in this case in Africa. Like, but you don't often hear like goblins terrorizing French.
Yeah,
or like
terrorizing
Italian goblins. Like, is it Europe? Is it maybe Europe just doesn't have goblins? Like, it's not the right climate or something.
I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Must be what it is. Yeah.
No, maybe they've been driven out.
Culturally, we're not very goblin-y. Yeah.
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 Look into it, George.
Maybe we're like gnome country. You know, we're sort of more gnomey.
Yeah, maybe the gnomes ward off goblins.
Maybe that's what these people need. They need to get some gnomes.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. What's next? Yeah. What?
This?
How many more?
There's
goblins?
Well, there's quite a few more, but I won't give you all, but I'll tell you a few. But they've taken steps, obviously following this particular incident, which was back in 2022, which involved sexual assaults against teachers and students at the school.
Wow.
Bit weird. At first, they tried home remedies, which involved mixing salt and warm water and sprinkling it all over the classroom. They even tried a seance.
I could tell you that weren't going to work.
They tried a seance, and the priest or whatever the holy person was seen to chase invisible beings around the school, but it didn't stop the attacks. One parent says that the attacks spread to students outside of the school premises and nearby villages. They say, "My child was attacked by a goblin and started vomiting continuously. I'm even more surprised to find out that most of the students from the nearby village have been having the same problem, especially with neck issues." Don't quite know what that means. I'm guessing like a sore neck or something.
Yeah.
I've had a sore neck. I didn't realise it was a goblin.
It could have been a goblin, yeah.
Well, apparently it is. There's no could have about it. I didn't realise.
Yeah. But they did the
paid for a massage and everything. That was fucking waste of money, wasn't it? I should have just gone and saw the local.
Paid for a priest.
Yeah. Got a fucking goblin off my neck.
But the local community, they paid or ended up paying for goblin hunters. I can't remember I haven't got the name of the specific like local name for these goblin hunters. And they paid $1 that they clubbed together. The village or the community. They paid $1 each, which seems like quite a good deal, to be honest. $1 to have a goblin hunter come and exterminate.
Depends how much that kind of.
It's all relative. But I would pay $1 to get rid of goblins.
Yeah, but apparently they haven't resolved it.
Fucking worth it, is it? Jesus.
Did they cheap out? Maybe that's the cheap. Yeah.
Maybe
went to like dollar store goblin hunter.
Don't you need to find some like what would you find to fit a goblin, like high elves or something? I'm trying to remember my Warhammer. I guess just you have a high elf or I can't remember any other
dwarf
or
maybe.
Warhammer armies. No, you didn't get dwarves in Warhammer. You got like
really?
orcs, goblins,
come on,
elves. I can't remember. And then there was like the
trolls.
Maybe you got trolls, but they were sort of orc goblin adjacent. I think they were kind of part of the same army.
Right, okay.
There was Warhammer Fantasy and then there was Warhammer 40,000, and they were like two separate kind of games.
Well, you don't want the ones that are adjacent, do you? You want the direct opposite.
Yeah.
So
I know.
I guess it would be
in
elves.
like the Warhammer like starter pack, classic like starter pack that you could get, and I got it from a boot sale once, dirt cheap. It was like you got goblins and you got elves, and they were the two like opposing armies you could battle. So they should have got some high elves in, is what I'm saying.
Or what was that town in America where they had a leprechaun? Maybe the leprechaun chases out the goblin.
Maybe that's why we don't get them in the UK. Maybe because leprechauns come over from Ireland.
Yeah,
fuck with people's shit. Yeah, fuck with the goblins. Fuck off the goblins. Yeah, maybe.
It's a good word, isn't it? Goblin. I like it.
Goblin is a good word. Yeah. Goblin.
This is the last story. There's loads of these goblin stories from Zimbabwe. So it's emerged on Twitter, on X. People have been commenting, what is going on in Zimbabwe, all that sort of stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's the last one that I'll mention, which is that horror film come to life. Goblins terrorise the Bulawayo family. Children beaten, food vanishes. It's from March this year. And it says a family of 3 children from Magwegwe North in Bulawayo lives daily as though they're a part of the cast of a horror flick. The children, aged 13, 12 and 8, along with their elderly grandparents, found themselves at the mercy of unseen and mischievous entities known as goblins. Their once peaceful household has transformed into a realm of fear and confusion. Strange occurrences have become routine. Objects vanish without a trace. Unexplained noises reverberate through the walls, and the children have reported being physically assaulted by invisible forces. Doors and windows behave autonomously. Lights flicker, and even food disappears whilst cooking. This is a quote from one of the adults. They said, "We don't know what to do anymore. The ordeal began in last November. One morning, our children woke up with their heads shaved." I don't know why they're specifically shaving children's heads, but we thought it was a one-time thing. The next day, our youngest child woke up in the middle of the night screaming. He had been stabbed in the leg with a knife. He also woke up with his head shaved again. We were all terrified
Again?
and completely clueless about
can't-
what was happening.
But if they've already had the head shaved,
Guess it was like a fresh. I like to think it was like a proper wet shave, So he woke up sort of gleaming.
Yeah, somehow managed to get all sides and everything.
Yeah. But so that's
Wow.
There's this ongoing goblin crisis in Zimbabwe. I'm hoping it will be something that we can, continue to check in on.
I was going to say go out and investigate.
We could go in and investigate. That'd be good. But I mean, it's just strange to me that it's even spoken about in politics in Zimbabwe. Obviously, I don't know. Can't verify all of the facts of all of these stories, unfortunately. So I do advise our listeners to do their own desk research.
Do their own due diligence on golfing. Yeah. This is not goblin advice.
No, this isn't goblin. This isn't goblin backed. This isn't a goblin backed podcast. I just want to make that perfectly clear. We're an independent podcast.
That's what the goblins would want us to say.
Yeah. But it's just funny that there's all these goblin incidents occurring.
I don't think it's funny, George.
I guess it depends if you're the goblin.
Hear what you read?
I mean, the head shaving's quite funny.
And stabbing in the leg.
The stabbing, maybe not so funny. But definitely
stealing food.
Just shaving someone. Someone's head is funny from a very immature perspective, I guess. Like whilst they sleep.
Yeah.
How angry would you be if you woke up with your head shaved? I know Rob, you'd be pretty.
I'd be
furious.
rather vexed. Yes.
Decades of hard work has gone into that.
I'd be used to. I said this before. I'd be like Samson when I wouldn't be able to play guitar or like do anything like.
Just flopping.
I would be annoyed. Probably not as annoyed. I'd be annoyed just for like the growing. Actually, no. I don't think I'd be that annoyed.
You just.
It would be rubbish, like the growing back phase, because I don't think it would look too good when it's in that like middle part of it growing back. Or I just have to commit, and now I'm just bald.
Just a baldy.
Be a bald guy,
yeah. I know we like usually stay out of politics, but I'm not surprised by like the politicians using it as sort of like ammunition. I think if we had a population that believed in goblins, I wouldn't put it past any politician here to use goblins as part of their campaign.
Oh yeah, of course they would. Yeah,
I think that would go for any country as well. I think they would blame if there's another. I gather from like what you read is that there's either the current government or like a proposed policy is coming in to give people free cars, and then someone else is like, that's ridiculous, that's going to cost so much money, the goblins are behind this, or like the goblins want you to have free cars, and like they're trying to like use goblins as a way to goblins don't want you, Les, like this kind of
100% they would.
That's good.
So was that the actual story? Because I imagine that as much as I want to believe that there's goblins in Zimbabwe, I think maybe in many cases it's obviously just people being a bit naughty, and then maybe it's become like a local.
Can't imagine what you mean. You just read the story out as goblins. What are you on about?
It could be. Yeah, well, maybe I'm under the sway of the elves are they're telling me to say these things to discredit goblins. I don't know. But I wonder what the actual story is. Is it like hysteria? You read about these sort of cases of localized hysteria where, like the leprechaun thing. I know that one of those was obviously people were bullshitting and playing up to it, but you sometimes hear about.
Yeah, I was going to ask, was that what it was? Where, is it the leprechaun they all say they saw when that?
Yeah, I think they were playing up for the camera.
Yeah, they were. They all decided they were going to do it.
They even had a little leprechaun up in the tree or something at one point. It was like a little.
Or no, I think they went and just show them the tree, and a load of them say, "We saw it up in this tree." I think it's like, and it's just a tree. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I thought you had the answer, George.
I don't have
I thought we were going to find out what was causing all the.
Like many of my stories, I leave the answer up to you. It's like a choose your own adventure. It's up to you where the story goes. Could just be, a regular robbery, or it could be a supernatural being that's decided the best course of action is to shave. The thing that really annoys people is shaving their children's heads. Not just one night, but 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, that's the weird one. If they just made that shit up, or as like some parent decided to shave their kid's head to get in, like to get a news article out of it, like to get in the paper and talk about goblins, or that's
or maybe it's like
particularly
the
weird
dad. The dad has shaved. The kid said, "Oh no, can you shave my head, please?" So he shaved the head, and then obviously the mum is furious because you've shaved the kid's head, and he's sort of trying to cover himself by saying
it's goblins. Yeah,
I didn't fucking say it was the goblins last night.
Yeah,
I don't know. But that's it. So goblin drama in Zimbabwe at the moment. If there's any further updates, I will try and bring them to you as breaking news, as part of the Curios cast commitment to 24/7 rolling news coverage.
Cheers.
Yeah, if you've
George.
had any experiences with goblins, or if you have recently just got the internet, or if you know what happened to Rob's sunglasses.
Yeah, or if you have experience with your own portal, or if you know what happened to my keys, that's an actual, like, someone might actually be able to explain what the fuck happened to my keys there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The phone number's not currently up and running.
Before you go quickly, I'm going to grab my key.
Beefing with... Oh, yeah, go grab the key. I'm still beefing with Vodafone. I actually haven't done anything yet, but I need to get onto Vodafone to get them to reactivate the Curios hotline.
Okay.
I think it had been in... I didn't realise that... I thought you could just get a SIM card. You have a phone number. People can just text you and stuff now. But they deactivate your SIM card if you haven't put any money on it or anything for like 6 months.
It's like a prepaid thing.
Yeah, so like every 6 months I'll need to top up the Curios hotline to keep it going. But I didn't do that.
That's mad,
Oh,
isn't it?
it's sheared that way. That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
So was it only just that one key that sheared? No, the others were fine.
Yeah, they all of them came off the keyring. It may well have been this keyring. I can't remember. All the others came off, but this one was sheared. And this was my house key, so I had no house key. I couldn't get in. I think, I had to ring up my girlfriend at the time, and she had to get like a mate from work to come and pick me up and take me home and let me in.
It must have been the impact hitting something.
But
that's so
weird, isn't it? Like, I almost find that less weird than all the keys coming off the keyring and the keyring being intact. Like,
yeah, that's true.
I can sort of see how that might have happened. Once they've got off, that part baffles me. Once they're off, I can sort of see how it would whip into something and shear off. Maybe, I don't know. No, still.
I reckon like a magician would know.
Yeah.
This seems like the kind of thing that a magician would do. They're like got some keys and
they know how to quickly...
And they all come off.
Yeah,
they all come off. So
why have we not had a magician on the podcast yet? That's like prime Curios.
They're weird, aren't they?
A bit weird.
But no weirder than...
Yeah.
Some of
Dolphin Shagger.
Yeah.
Oh,
haunted.
See that ghost?
Is that a goblin?
Is it a ghost or is it...
Is it a goblin?
Go on, people, jump.
There's a little goblin there.
There's a goblin coming.
Goblin.
Goblin.
So you can text if you want, but it might not get through because I might not have.
We haven't paid the bills.
I also don't know if it's possible. Someone else might have that phone number now. But
it'll still be funny. Text.
You can email curioscast@gmail.com.
Or you can message on Instagram, I guess, because you're the only one who has access to it now.
Curioscast on the Instagram, yeah.
God,
all right, that's been episode 108 of the Curios Cast.
Peace.
Bye.